Welcome back to Coach All Writes. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to write a conclusion for a synthesis essay. One question I'm asked all the time is, do I really need a conclusion? And quite frankly, regardless of which AP Lang essay we're talking about, the answer is technically no. Conclusions are not necessary. They're not part of the AP Lang rubric. And the reason why is because these essays are viewed as a timed write, they're a rough draft, and quite frankly, you only have 40 minutes, so not only is it a rough draft, but you're writing under duress. Therefore, you might not pace to get to a conclusion, and that's okay. So before you even attempt to write a conclusion, please be sure, especially for a synthesis essay, that you've already cited 3 sources. In order to be considered for some of the higher numbers in row B, the evidence and commentary row, you need to make sure that you have 3 sources clearly cited in your essay. You also want to make sure that you have developed body paragraphs. If you ever have to choose between writing more in your body paragraph or moving on to a conclusion, I would probably say that the body paragraph is going to be more important, because if you're working on your evidence and commentary, then chances are you're helping that portion of your score. You also want to check the time remaining. Do you have enough time to actually write a conclusion? Now, let's say that you do. Let's say you have enough time to write a conclusion, you have your 3 sources or more, and your body paragraphs are pretty strong. Well, what do you actually do in a conclusion for a synthesis essay? Some students are going to want to restate their thesis if needed, and that's perfectly all right. Sometimes people might be worried that the original thesis wasn't defensible, or sometimes as you're writing, you just kind of come up with a better thesis and you want to end your essay with a strong note. And so some students write it in their conclusion simply because they kind of found their groove and they're writing something stronger than what they had in their intro. That's totally fine. Now, with a conclusion, I recommend avoiding the phrase "in conclusion" or something like "all in all" or "to sum up," because those are a little bit too, on the nose, I guess. So I've included a sentence frame here that can help you lead into a conclusion paragraph. So it says, when considering, and then you're going to put the topic there, it becomes clear, or you can use the word apparent or evident, that, and then you would basically refer back to your main ideas. Therefore, so tell us what we can assume or learn from that sentence. Based on what you've argued, what's the conclusion that we're supposed to come to? Now, this sentence frame can be used elsewhere in your essay as well, but many of my students like it for their conclusion paragraph. It's also okay to use the language from the prompt as well. So your prompt might ask you about the role, if any, of a certain topic, or it might ask you about certain factors that need to be considered. It's okay to use this phrasing in that sentence as well. Now, besides just restating your thesis, let's say you want to develop your conclusion even more. What can you actually do? I would recommend asking yourself these questions. Who is helped or harmed by this issue? So basically, who benefits and who is placed at a disadvantage? What are the short-term and long-term societal implications of this issue? And why does this issue really matter? Answering any one of these questions in your conclusion paragraph can help you get into some deeper insight. You could also try to situate the issue in a broader context. So ask yourself, why is this issue relevant on a local, national, or even international level? Now, you don't have to answer all parts of that question. It really depends on the topic itself. You could also ask yourself if you know any outside knowledge that you could connect to the relevance of that issue. So for instance, depending on the topic, let's say it's something related to education, you might know some outside knowledge about it. You might even have personal experience that you could use as part of your conclusion. And on the previous slide, I mentioned long-term implications. This is another way to phrase that. Ask yourself, why is the issue important to the future? So not only are we asking ourselves, why does it really matter, but why does it matter to the future? Another way to possibly end your essay is to have a call to action. So a call to action is when you challenge your audience to go and do something. You want them to act. Now, I don't think this is appropriate for everyone's essay, nor do I think it necessarily works for every prompt. However, it is a tool that you want to have in your toolbox in case it works for the prompt that you see on exam day. So ask yourself, what does society need to do regarding this issue? Is there a particular group that needs to act? So you might not be directly addressing your reader. Instead, you might be addressing parents, educators, politicians, businesses. Think about who needs to act if you're going to have a call to action. And like I said, while this is something that you can do to add more to your conclusion, I wouldn't use it every time. Use it sparingly and use it thoughtfully. All right, and there you have it. Those are my quick tips for writing a synthesis conclusion. If you found this video helpful, please do me a huge favor and hit that thumbs up. Also, make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. If you're looking for more really quick tips about AP Lang, then definitely go check out Coach Hall Writes on TikTok. I have several tutorial videos over there as well. I also do my best to respond to student questions over on TikTok, so if you ask me a question, you will likely get an answer. And if you're looking for more resources to help you prepare for the AP Lang exam, then check out the description box below. Until next time, happy writing!